In 1890, in the tranquil Cheyenne located in Oklahoma, a young woman lived her daily life. During this historical period, the town still retained its rural essence and the simplicity of an era when modernization had not fully reached the entire region. In the year 1888, an image of Lily Mae Smith Tucker, a notable woman of Cherokee descent and the daughter of Nimrod Jarrett Smith, was captured. This historical photograph provides us with a fascinating glimpse of the past and the cultural richness that characterized that era. Marcia Paschal, a remarkable woman who carries in her ancestry the heritage of Lieutenant Colonel George W. Paschal and Cherokee culture, emerges as a captivating figure whose identity is deeply immersed in the pages of history and the richness of culture. As a direct descendant of the illustrious Lieutenant Colonel George W. Paschal, her genealogy is intertwined with heroic deeds and the solid military tradition that permeates her family. A visually striking image of Hattie Tom, a woman belonging to the Chiricahua Apache tribe, captured in a photograph dating back to around 1898 and immortalized by the skills of the talented photographer Frank Reinhardt. In this historical representation, Hattie Tom emerges as an essential element in deepening our understanding of the enriching cultures and traditions of the Chiricahua Apache people that thrived during that time. An image that captures a young woman from the Lakota tribe, dating back to around 1890, is a work of art that bestows upon us a captivating glimpse of a distant era and culture. In this historical representation, we are kindly invited to immerse ourselves in the identity and unique beauty of this young Lakota woman, allowing us to establish a profound connection with the richness of her cultural heritage and traditions. Sawatanyuk, a young member of the Kwakwaka'wakw First Nations community that inhabited the Northwest Coast region, lived her life in the rich and diverse cultural context of the Kwakwaka'wakw tribe around the year 1914. She was part of a society that held deep roots in their ancestral traditions. In the photograph, we can see a young woman whose name and personal details remain undocumented as she stands with her bowls. This image was produced using the photographic technique of platinum printing, a specific method, and is attributed to the renowned photographer Adam Clark Vroman, with its creation dating back to approximately 1860. A young member of one of the numerous Native American tribes is captured in a photograph dating back to approximately 1900. This image immortalizes a moment from the early 20th century, providing a glimpse into the life and rich indigenous cultures of that time. Inusk, a descendant of the esteemed leader of the Kickapoo tribe, emerged in the narrative around the 1880s. She personifies a connection to the abundant cultural tradition and authority within the Kickapoo tribe, playing an essential role in the heritage and identity of this indigenous community. Julie Nelson, born in 1886, had Native American roots. She belonged to a distinct indigenous culture, and like many of her peers in the community, undoubtedly shared a deep connection to the land, cultural traditions, and the traditional way of life that characterized her people. Alice, whose tribal affiliation remains uncertain, perhaps with connections to the Cayuse, Walla Walla, or Umatilla tribes, came into the world around the year 1900. The uncertainty regarding her tribal affiliation suggests that her cultural heritage possibly originated from one of these indigenous communities in the northwestern United States. In the early 20th century, basket weaving practiced by Apache women vividly represented the rich culture and artisanal skills of this indigenous group. Apache women, sometimes referred to as Native women, skillfully dedicated themselves to crafting remarkably detailed and complex baskets, employing natural materials such as straw, reeds, sweetgrass, and cedar strips, thus demonstrating their profound connection to the art of weaving. In the year 1910, the depiction of an Arapaho woman evokes the image of a young member of the Arapaho tribe, a Native American community with a historical presence in the Great Plains of North America. Wearing traditional attire, she would embody a fundamental aspect of Arapaho culture from that era. Minnie Lou Ottinger Bradley, during the early 20th century, emerges as an intriguing figure from the past, whose existence and context provide a captivating perspective on the turn of the century. During this time, Minnie Lou would have witnessed a series of social, political, and cultural changes that exerted a profound influence on the historical narrative of the United States. The photograph provides an intriguing perspective of Nora Barada Murphy, who lived in the locality of White Cloud, Kansas, in the year 1909. Nora Murphy stood out as a prominent member of the Iowa tribe, whose ancestral roots extended across the lands of Kansas and Nebraska. The image vividly captures Nora's striking presence, meticulously showcasing the details of her attire and appearance, which bear witness to her deep pride in her cultural heritage and the traditions of her tribal people. The image of Ada Lopez Richards, a woman belonging to the Tolowa tribe in 1923, transports us to an intriguing portrait of Native American life during that period. Ada stood out as a prominent figure in the preservation of the rich Tolowa culture, an indigenous tribe that historically inhabited the coastal areas of California and Oregon. Ana Kask Cash embodied the essence of Cayuse tribe culture, wearing richly decorated traditional attire adorned with details that expressed the tribe's deep connection to the land and its long-standing traditions. In 1910, Cayuse cultural traditions were facing challenges due to the increasing influence of Western culture, putting pressure on their ancestral identity. A photograph dating back to 1908 features a young member of the Venerable Sioux tribe, one of the most iconic and historically significant Native American groups. The photograph reveals the young Sioux woman dressed in traditional clothing, standing out for her cultural authenticity and ethnic uniqueness. With attire that echoes her people's rich cultural heritage, she wears a complex combination of animal skins, feathers, and beads. In the year 1939, a photograph immortalized the presence of June Welch, a young member of the Cherokee tribe, carefully dressed in traditional attire that echoed centuries of history and culture of her people. This image is like a time capsule, capturing not only the beauty of the young woman, but also the depth of her cultural roots. Lena Geronimo, the daughter of the renowned Native American leader Geronimo, came into the world under unique historical circumstances in the year 1886 at Fort Marion, located in Florida. What adds even more fascination to her story is the fact that her birth occurred while her celebrated father was held as a prisoner in the same location. A young member of the Kiowa tribe in 1910 personified a living witness to a rich cultural and historical heritage. During this era, the Kiowa tribes predominantly inhabited the vast Great Plains region in the United States. Young Kiowa individuals played fundamental roles within their communities, taking on crucial tasks such as food preparation, the production of traditional crafts, and the care of children. Josefa Rios, a prominent member of the Tohono O'odham tribe, also known as Papago, in the early 20th century. She played a crucial role in her community by working to preserve and transmit the cultural traditions and ancestral knowledge that constituted the richness of her tribal heritage. A young member of the Kiowa Native tribe in the year 1892 personified a living connection to the deeply rooted traditions of her ancestral culture. Wearing a traditional attire richly adorned with intricate beadwork and fringes, she symbolized the continuity and authenticity of her people's cultural practices. Juanita Buck was a Dakota Sioux woman who lived during the 1880s and stood out as a remarkable figure in her community. She was a living witness to a period of transformations and challenges faced by her people. Juanita was recognized for her deep connection to Sioux culture and ancestral traditions, playing the role of a devoted guardian of her tribe's legacy. Goldie Jamison Conklin was a Seneca woman from the Allegheny Reservation, belonging to the Native American community in the early 20th century. A photograph from 1910 immortalized her striking presence, revealing a woman with strong and distinct features that radiated the rich cultural heritage of her tribe. She was dressed in traditional attire, proudly displaying the ornate and intricate garments that were inherent to her culture. This image provides a captivating glimpse of the distinguished princess from the prominent Umatilla tribe, residing in the picturesque region of Northwest Oregon. The historical record of this precious photograph dates back to the year 1900, when Major Lee Morehouse, a skilled photographer and observer of the time, captured this remarkable scene with his camera. The Chief's Daughter is a depiction of Loti Quillatede, a young Native American from the Pueblo tribe, residing in New Mexico, timeless captured in a photograph dating back to 1905. This image was recorded by the renowned photographer Carl Moon, who skillfully immortalized both the beauty and rich culture of this young woman, who is part of one of the oldest indigenous tribes in the United States. A young member of the Kalispel tribe in 1910 is a fascinating figure that transports us to a scene rich in history and culture. She is a living representative of a Native American group that historically inhabited the northwestern region of the United States, specifically in the areas near the Pend Oreille and Spokane rivers, encompassing what we now know as Idaho and Washington. An intriguing image, dating back to around 1904, delicately captures the figure of a woman from the Navajo community. Her face radiates authenticity and joy, reflected in a charming smile. The historical context and attire of the time add layers of cultural significance to the photograph, providing a deeper and richer insight into Navajo life and culture. A young woman from the Yakima tribe, known as LaRoche, emerged as a notable presence in the city of Seattle in 1899. Her youth and tribal heritage made her a unique figure during that time. LaRoche embodied the essence of Yakima tribe beauty and culture, becoming a prominent figure in the local society. A remarkable image, dated 1908, presents us with a captivating portrait of Awe-Ayu, also known as Beautiful Flower, a member of the Seneca Nation. This image transports us to the historical and cultural context of the time, providing an engaging glimpse into the life and identity of the Seneca Nation in the early 20th century. Coyotes, a notable woman from the Caddo tribe, was immortalized in a fascinating photograph captured in the year 1906 by the renowned photographer George Bancroft. In this iconic image, we can appreciate the richness of Caddo culture and history as they inhabited the vast plains of the southeastern United States, with ancestral traditions deeply intertwined with their connection to nature and spirituality. In 1907, photographer Edward Curtis captured the image of Lucille, a woman from the Dakota Sioux tribe. The photograph immortalizes Lucille dressed in traditional attire, which highlights the intricate details of her clothing, including beaded necklaces and ornate bracelets. Lucille's face conveys the wisdom of her heritage, with the wrinkles telling the story of a life lived in deep connection with the land and the rich culture of her native ancestors. A rare photograph of a Kiowa woman, dated 1894, reveals a remarkable smile. In this image, the Kiowa woman exudes an authentic and enchanting smile. Her facial expression conveys genuine joy, highlighting the richness of the Kiowa people's culture and history, a Native American community with deep ties to the vast plains. An image recorded in the year 1905 showcases a member of the Ho-Chunk tribe, situated in Black River Falls, Wisconsin. In the photo, a young figure dressed in a checkered shawl adorned with tassels is featured. The young woman is identified as Kate Thunderminer. The photograph unmistakably conveys the simplicity that surrounds the young woman and her attire. A photograph taken in 1898 unveils a young member of the Assiniboine tribe. The photograph documents the young woman's presence within a historical and cultural context, offering a direct insight into her ethnic heritage and the era she lived in. The purity of the portrayal allows us to contemplate the young woman and appreciate her connection to the rich culture of the Assiniboine tribe during that period. Zitkala-Sa, whose nickname means Red Bird, distinguished herself as an activist of the Lakota tribe. She gained prominence through her literary work in which she shared her personal experiences and dilemmas related to her cultural identity. What makes her writings remarkable is that they represented one of the earliest significant efforts to introduce traditional Native American narratives and perspectives to a broader audience, predominantly composed of English-speaking individuals. A photograph dating from approximately 1900 captures a woman belonging to the Crow tribe outdoors, near Sheridan, Wyoming. She is dressed in traditional attire, consisting of a dress adorned with elk teeth, a leather belt, and necklaces made of beads. The scene provides us with an immediate view of the clothing style and the environment in which this Crow woman lived at that time, unveiling unique elements of her culture and way of life. Atra Asan, also known as Bertha Thompson, has a complex ancestral lineage. She is the daughter of Milton James Thompson and Chinawa, a woman belonging to the Yurok tribe. These details are extracted from records dated back to 1914, providing a glimpse of her origins and ethnic heritage during a period in history when the preservation of genealogical information was of paramount importance in appreciating the richness of Native American tribal cultural diversity. Julia Ann Kika is a woman belonging to the Umatilla tribe, documented in a photograph dating back to 1880. This image provides us with an immediate view of Julia Ann Kika's identity, allowing us to appreciate her connection to the Umatilla tribe and the historical context in which the photograph was taken. A photograph dated from 1900 features a young Native American whose identity has not been explicitly documented. She is wearing traditional clothing, suggesting a deep connection to her culture and ethnic heritage. The photograph provides us with a glimpse of the appearance and typical attire of a young woman from that era,